Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thank you for joining me. I am at beautiful Loon Lake. I'm with Charles and Elvina Lilibridge, and we are at Lilibridge's Maple Beach Resort. Thank you, too, for joining me. You have a special year this year, don't you? Yes, yes, you do. And so Charles and Elvina have been community of Vergas people for the last 50-some years, and they've been at the resort here for 50 years, and I think just about anybody, when you stop and talk about supporting the community of Vergas, Charles and Elvina will come to your mind. Anyway, they do mine. And so I decided it'd be a good time to come out and visit and hear a little bit about how you came upon the resort here. And so, Elvina, I think I'll start with you. Tell me about how you became resort owners on beautiful Loon Lake.
Oh, well, we were married in 1960, and Charles had been on the railroad. The railroad decided that they were going to send him off to Washington or Montana, so he decided to go back to school. He went to school for 4 years, and after he had graduated in May, we decided one June day to drive out in the country because as we were going to summer school also, people would say, I know where there's a piece of land.
Sure.
And so we took our 1960 Chevrolet Honeymoon convertible, and we came out and we buzzed around on Highway 35, never did find the place, never found what we were looking for. So,
hold that a little closer, Elvina.
Okay, and anyway, as we came to Highway 4 and 35, Charles said, I better run into the store in town, and so he went to the Sportsman Center and did his duty, and said, do you know of any land around here? And the people that were there said, yes, there's an older couple that has a resort and they want to get rid of it.
Who had the resort at that time?
Rudy and Hulda.
It was Rudy
yes.
and Hulda.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Yes, I wasn't sure on that.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, they were delightful. They were very unique, the opposite personalities. Anyway, we drove into their yard, and as it says in one of our write-ups, it says, they called us the Fargo City Slickers.
Yeah, I love
that.
And
So we said we'd like to take a look at what you have for sale. She brought us down a road that came through their farm. And as we came in, we saw 3 cabins, yellow, green, and lavender. And 3 bathrooms, 3 outdoor baths. And the area was full of junk and garbage in this area. This complete area where we're sitting now was complete garbage. Anyway, after 9 days, we were here 8 times to talk them into selling it to us. Anyway, as it continued on, we finally did do that. And as we were trying to figure out finances, Charles didn't have a job, and I, was the only one working. Well, anyway, we financed a building we had in town, and we did make it. And Charles slept in the station wagon on the beach and used the water from the scaling house the first week. I was doing my master's at North Dakota State. I came out on weekends and I slept one night in that station wagon, and that was enough. I went back to town. Anyway, then after mid-time in the during the summer, we did move into this cabin, the yellow cabin. But anyway, and that's when we decided we better get a place where we can have something. And that's when Charles decided to build this A-frame. And now he can tell the story because
tell the story. Okay, so about building the A-frame. So you found this beautiful place, from Rudy and Hulda, and talked them into selling it. How many feet of lakeshore did you end up with here?
700.
700.
Yes.
Okay, 700.
It says in the form it says 700 acres, but it's 700 feet.
700 acres would put you out in the lake, wouldn't it?
Exactly. But most of it is to our left. Most of the land is to the left. But anyway, it's been an experience.
And I imagine lakeshore prices were a little bit different back then.
Oh, yes. We paid $7,500 for 700 feet.
Okay. I just wanted to get that in because I think some people will appreciate that $7,500.
500. Oh my God.
Imagine taxes, could cover that right now. Okay, Charles. So you decided that you wanted to live on the lake in Loon Lake in Vergas, Minnesota, and you needed to build a house for yourself. How did you go about that?
Well,
Hold that. I'll hold it for you if you want.
there was a big maple tree right where this thing sits now, and that had to come down. And I'm not much for taking trees down, but I had to take it down to build this place. So I dug all around the tree and sawed all of the roots off and everything. And there was no such thing as a chainsaw in those days. So and I'd chopped forever to get that thing out of here. So somebody suggested, why not you try some dynamite? So I went up to the hardware store and I got 4 sticks of dynamite and packed those in all around it, and
how this is gonna go.
told everybody to get out of the way. So and I lit the fuse and up she went. Mud went flying in the dirt and lake and everything else, and the tree just stood there and shook a little bit back and forth and still stood there. So I thought, well, that's not going to do it. So what I'll have to do is get more dynamite. So I went uptown and got 4 more sticks of dynamite.
I'm going to intercede here for 1 second. Did my dad own the hardware store at that time? Because I remember him selling dynamite.
Yeah, Hanson's owned the hardware store, right? And so anyway, I got 4 more sticks of dynamite. And they said, well, you be careful with these caps when you carry these, so the dynamite caps. And so I was, and I lit it, and away she went. And the tree went straight out of the ground and made a half a turn and plopped over. And that was the end of the tree. So, but other things were that these wooden boats we had to paint and scrape them every year and put them in the water, and so they'd swell up so they wouldn't leak. And and then we had these outdoor toilets, and I remember one boy used a toilet and he says, how do you flush this thing anyway?
Yes, I imagine you taught a few lessons to some of the, you guys no longer were the city slickers. You taught them a few lessons too. Charles and Elvina, you have, like I say, you're celebrating your 50th anniversary here on Loon Lake. And so I'm sure you've got just a number of stories. And I would really like to hear some of those stories. And so I think that what we'll do is we'll close and we'll come back and we'll talk about a couple of those stories. But one thing I did want to mention is you always used the city, you came into the village of Vergas and you supported that, didn't you? You made that very important.
We always felt that we needed to do that. Well, of course, the bank and the fire department are very important to us. We've had occasions when we've needed some help when somebody had a heart attack and so on. And even though we're from a bigger town, we always feel that if you're in a community, you better support it. And we have gotten a lot of help.
Yes.
I can tell you about one situation.
We're going to come back, though, on that, Elvina. We're going to need to close for today, but if you're willing to come back and tell me another story, couple stories, I definitely want to hear about them. So, everyone, you see what the beautiful Loon Lake has to offer here with the Lilibridge's Maple Beach Resort, and I congratulate you on 50 years, and so watch for the show next week. We'll be right back.